forfeited your right to live at all.
I'm going to sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
6 consecutive sentences of life imprisonment without the possibility of release or parole.
From a standard life sentence to a jaw-dropping 3,000 years, today we're diving into the most extreme punishments ever handed down by the justice system.
Count 12, murder in the first degree. After deliberation, Rebecca Wingo. We, the jury, do not have a unanimous final sentencing verdict on this count, and we, the jury, understand that as a result, the court will impose a sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole on this count.
Doesn't seem too shocking for a man who killed a dozen people in a shootout and injured many more. I mean, the most he could get is 12 life sentences, right? But what came unexpectedly for this man was another 3 millenniums of imprisonment without the possibility of parole.
Convicted murderer, theater shooter James Holmes sentenced to more than 3,300 years in prison today. That's on top of the 12 life sentences he's already serving. The judge sentencing Holmes to 48 years in prison for each count of attempted first-degree murder, 32 years for each count of second-degree attempted murder, and another 6 years for the booby trap.
Man's respawn point won't be moving an inch for another 30 to 40 lives.
The jury has returned the following verdict. Verdict form number 1, we find the defendant guilty of robbery in the first degree. Signed, foreperson. Have I accurately portrayed your verdict, sir? And do the rest of you agree with that representation? Very well.
Does he know what 2 life sentences actually mean? His response to being called a cold-blooded murderer is, "Oui, this chair swings." Sometimes a life sentence or 2 isn't enough for people like them, especially this mother.
Unprotected, to suffer what I heard was the most gruesome death imaginable, with no food, no water, no protection, and lying in her own feces. You decided you needed a vacation. You left your baby, Jalen, trapped in a pack and play without food and water for 10 days. I'm going to sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
This case doesn't just revolve around negligence. It's straight up evil. She deserves the same kindness she did to her kid. No food, and no water, and no protection.
The serial rapist Joseph McCann was today told he will spend at least 30 years behind bars for the horrific attacks he carried out, handing McCann 33 life sentences for sex attacks on 11 women and children. The judge called him a psychopath, a coward.
What even is the point of 33 life sentences? Is the court going to make sure that no matter what life form he takes after reincarnation, he won't be able to escape the eyes of justice?
For people who commit these offenses, these sentences must be imposed in order to prevent like-minded people, as they're accused, from committing further offenses of this nature.
And its verdict? 5 life terms, 1 for each of the crimes, including murder and rape.
The judge didn't hold back even a bit, and it's the most suitable decision ever, because 1 life sentence clearly isn't enough for a predator like this guy.
I would have killed more.
Like in the case of Ahmed Ali Alid, a Moroccan asylum seeker who is facing murder charges in Hartlepool, England.
You're under arrest on suspicion of attempted murder. Times 2. You don't have to say anything.
Sounds like that judge really held a grudge against him. She wasn't messing around at all. This guy got served life imprisonment without the chance of ever getting out because he decided to turn the frozen food aisle into a crime scene.
We, the jury, in the above account cause, find the defendant, Roland K. McDavid, conspiracy to commit murder.
Too late to pull a move like that because she still ain't evading the sentencing following her terrible life choices, especially the one where she hired the worst hitman in the state to finish the job.
A jury deciding the death penalty for Dylan Roof, who walked into that church and then shot and killed 9 parishioners who had invited him to pray with them. Tonight, Dylan Roof's final words to the court. ABC's Steve Osinsami leading us off.
It took jurors only 3 short hours. The most appropriate sentence is death.
Even a death sentence is not harsh enough for what this monster did. He didn't just violate a building, he broke the code of peace in a sanctuary where people feel the safest, making his actions even more disgusting.
The result is pretty much preordained. There's 6 consecutive sentences of life imprisonment without the possibility of release or parole.
It's the opportunity to live out your life to its natural end.
6 counts of aggravated murder? Yeah, at that point, Life imprisonment was the only inevitable choice that the judge was left with.
Jason Allen Thornburg, you have been adjudged by a jury to be guilty of capital murder, and the juror has answered the special issues, making it mandatory that your punishment be death. Therefore, this court sentences you, Jason Allen Thornburg, to death.
It's no shock this guy got the death penalty. He is not just any man. He's a killer, straight out of a horror movie. He is a cruel butcher who has absolutely no regard for human life.
Court defendants serve a term of life without parole. As to count 4, for the offense of attempted murder.
The judge did what he was supposed to do here. He should have thought twice before taking a life and destroying many others.
Convicted serial rapist Ngosinathi Phakathi has been handed down a hefty sentence of 42 life imprisonment sentences, in addition to 791 years with 6 months for kidnapping, assault, and theft.
Keeping the usual penal system in mind, 42 life sentences is a hell of a time for himself to become the prey. Well, from what we have heard, it doesn't end well for guys like him behind bars.
In count 1, I will sentence you to death. Count 2, you will be sentenced to death. In count 3.
The kind of horror this man committed doesn't make him eligible for a second chance. He turned a place where people go for some peace and shopping into a lethal war zone.
So you find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree?
Yes.
Is that unanimous?
Yes.
This kid just wasted the prime years of 2 people, his own and the one he ended with his own hands. The judge didn't have second thoughts after looking at his face before giving him a sentence that would shatter his life.
Tonight, a Mississippi teen sentenced to life in prison without parole for murdering her mother and attempting to kill her stepfather.
We, the jury, sentenced the defendant, Carly Mass and Gregg, to life imprisonment.
15-year-old shooter Carly Gregg sobbing in court as she learned her fate.
This girl is on a level of coldness and betrayal that is hard to process for even the strongest minds. And she got what she deserved, a lifetime imprisonment, a chance to sit behind bars for the rest of her life and reflect on her thoughts.
So the total bond would be $2,500, broken down $1,000 resisting without violence, $1,000 for the DUI, and $500 for the expired driver's license. Is there anything else before me involving Mr. Beaver?
The only shocker here is the fact that our courts don't discriminate between a common man and a star. As for the fine, we all know that's not even something he would give a damn about.
This court finds the aggravating factors heavily outweigh the mitigating circumstances and that death is the proper penalty. Marlon Maurice Joseph, you have not only forfeited your right to live among us, but under the laws of the state of Florida, you have forfeited your right to live at all.
Wow, those are some cold, heavy words, but are completely befitting of a man like him who ruthlessly murdered a woman and her daughter.
What did they give you?
I got 3 consecutive life sentences plus 106 years.
3
consecutive life sentences
plus
106 years for some stuff that don't even carry this kind of time. None of the charges carry this type of time, none of them. But I got time like I killed him.
At this point, the judge didn't just throw a single book at this guy, he threw an entire library at him. The punishment given to this guy is just indirectly saying, you're never breathing free air again, not now, not ever.
I didn't mean to kill Oscar. Ashley, I really didn't. I really think I did that. I didn't mean to hurt him.
Great, here come the waterworks. Isn't it ironic that he keeps crying over how he beat his girlfriend's little boy to death? Just because he won't stop crying?
I can't take back what was done. I wish I could. I would give my life for Austin.
Well, tell that to the dead kid you couldn't stop from killing back then. If only someone could tell him that his bawling and crying will not bring the innocent kid back.
Based on his short life now, what is to say he won't do this again?
Well, we don't know that. I think it's completely unlikely. It was a situational, circumstantial thing.
The record will show that you admitted that on July 23rd, 2013, in a phone call to your mother from the holding center, you stated, and I got a quote from the court reporter, "I am a 16-year-old blonde. Probably all I have to do is cry in front of the jury, and they're going to feel sorry for me."
Well, look what the judge just uncovered. How brilliant. Apparently, all you need to do to dodge justice is cry a little and hope the court forgets about the crime. Truly a masterclass act to outshine the judge. Too bad it couldn't pass through. I'm sure you liked this video, and if you want to watch more of such stuff, like our video, and check out the rest of our videos on our channel.